Hi guys, intrepid viewers. Welcome also any new people. But before I start, a very short trigger warning for those who may be new to the channel, right? And you've just landed on Tarot Down Under. Now the thing is, this guy is a B-grade celebrity and at the end of the day, a multiple bankrupt. So this is a guy who couldn't run a casino. So if you think that gave him the resume to run a country, I'm afraid we'll have to agree to disagree. You know, stealing from his own charity for 15 years. I would also point out any Trump supporters going through, you've got to be suspicious of these people who say they're not getting paid. So Trump says he's not getting paid for the presidency when in fact he's raking in millions, you know, by people trying to suck up to him by staying in his hideous roach-infested, boring hotels. Where does it go, you know? Golfing a president does not make, you know. I bet he cheats at golf. I bet. Anyway, moving on from that, so much to cover. Go Kentucky. Go Virginia. And I also think something happened in Indiana. If anyone of my viewers can let me know, please do. So that's great. And the public testimonies are starting next week. So there's lots to be a bit happier about, or in fact, a lot happier, right? So it's all going off. So the whistleblower's identity was leaked and was exposed by Russia earlier this week. So then Rand Paul got all coy and said, yes, I might say who it is. Don Jr., I think, did reveal it or something. But the real question, viewers, how did Russia know the identity of the whistleblower? This shows their interference at the highest level of national security for the United States of America, that they knew it. Think about that. I don't know if the cards are the best way. I'll put it out to the channelers. Tara Whimsy, Dave from Moonride, can you ask that question? How did Russia know the identity of the whistleblower? But right now, I'm going to read on Lav Parnes and Giuliani. Giuliani also, he went 2 days ago, only 2 days ago, was saying, I did everything for my private client, the president. But he maintains he isn't being paid, except by leavening, or go figure. Manafort famously wasn't paid. Well, he's behind bars. So you've got to be suspicious of these guys who aren't paid. You know, it's code for we are up to our pubic hair in this scandal, you know. So here we go. This, I'm using the Russian cards, of course. But the other thing, viewers, my poor old Rider-Waite cards are worn out. I had to send off for a new deck. So what happens when you read a lot with one deck of cards is the cards get energy and they gain energy and you develop a rapport with your cards. But they've had to do so much work, the poor things. In the last 2 years, they've just worn out. Look at this fabulous wooden box that the 12 Chairs Tarot comes in. I love it. Has its little thing. Okay. Giuliani and Lav. So Lav has agreed to cooperate. They don't make hard men like they used to, viewers. Call me old school. They've only been under, you know, house arrest or whatever they're under for 5 minutes and he's agreed to a deal. Lav and Giuliani, and then Giuliani and Trump. Lav and Giuliani. Lav and Giuliani. I think I'll do 2 columns, Lav and Giuliani, and see what comes up. Lav and Giuliani. All right. There's signifier. Justice. Ha, ha, ha. The justice card for both of them. First off, can you see this? Oh, I'm sorry, viewers. It isn't the best way to do it. Now, this is Lav's column. This is Giuliani's column. Oh, Giuliani. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All right, I'll just have to hold the cards up because it's not that easy to see them. Okay, so as I said, in the centre for both of them, justice will be coming down on their saggy buttocks. Now, Lav's card starts with the star. And as you know, viewers, more and more I'm starting to read the star card as the United States of America. But in the Russian deck, it's a bit different again. Right, this is going through. Let me just explain something about the 12 Chairs deck. The 12 Chairs was a political satire written in the 20s or 30s or something in Russia, when you couldn't speak out against Stalin or whoever was in power. And so theatre was often the only way you could speak in code to the people. So it's a bit like Shakespeare often used these elaborate allegories to talk about what was happening with the royals and the aristocracy and so forth. So the 12 Chairs, the play, was about what people will do for money, right? So in this is Lav. This is the last searching of the chairs desperately for where the money is. He's got money put aside, but he has been boxed in by, well, getting caught with the one-way ticket to Frankfurt wasn't a good look. And so this is the Four of Pentacles. This is trying to hold on to the money he's got in other places desperately, but it's not looking that good. It's a dejected figure, and I'm sure Lav is not elated. He'd have to be worried, wouldn't he? You'd want a food taster, but I don't think he'll have that luxury. So he felt he had no choice. Then there's the Knight of Wands here. This is his ticket out, literally looking over his shoulder. He's a marked man now in everybody's playbook. He is a marked man looking over his shoulder, heading out. So we know he's done the deal. It seems unlikely then he'd have any choice but to be quite forthcoming and then really see throw himself on the mercy of the court. Now here comes Giuliani's. Right, now this is fascinating. Giuliani, I think, is experiencing mental health issues, or it could be an age-related dementia, or he could just be the ultimate arrogant wise guy. But in any event, he is finally waking up to the fact that his days are numbered in more ways than one. Lie with the dogs, the fleas will bite. He is thinking about an escape. He's probably thinking about maybe exploring his Italian roots on a more full-time basis. Now, we established from Pompeo as well, who's in deep caca, Italy does have an extradition arrangement with the United States, but the Vatican doesn't. And I think you'll find these men are becoming much more religious in their older years. But he's thinking about an escape, but I suspect he's left it too late. He's turned into a lush. You know, this is a card of decadence. And he got a taste of the high life with all this stuff, and it basically sent him round the bend. He's not the Giuliani of old by any definition. So this is a card of sort of giving up, in a way. It's giving up. This at least is action. This is in his head. Maybe after 12 coffees in the morning, he has these fantasies about being able to run away. But this is the indolence and the lush. So it's also the card on the route to penury or poverty. It is not looking good. This is Giuliani. It even looks like Giuliani, right? This is what little power and affluence he has left. This is a very expensive restaurant. Has Giuliani got a grown-up daughter? I don't know. It could be the bored daughter. It could be the paid escort who's bored to her back teeth. The waiter, as in all these cards, is eavesdropping. So apparently he loves the Havana Club, where they go and chomp on cigars and shoot the breeze. So this is him holding it together in the context of his day-to-day life. But on the one hand, he's thinking of escape, and on the other, he just can't see a way through it. So we need an outcome card or two for Giuliani. Lev's is more straightforward. He's going to tell whatever he tells and hope for the best, because really you would not want Putin after you. So these little cards, little sweeties, they're not my regular sweeties, they're different sweeties. They're actually not tarot cards, they're what I call fortune-telling cards. And you'll see why in a moment, I'll show you. But this is Giuliani's outcome. Tell us more about Giuliani now Lav rolls over. Giuliani. Expectation, bad health, along with Barr, Trump and Pompeo, bad health, and a journey. Oh, how interesting is that? The expectation, I suspect, is that somehow his reputation and the fact he's so well known in America will help him, but he's beginning to realise that it's not enough to help him. It's also on top of his card of escape. So he's expecting that he could escape if he really needed to. So on top of his card, look at these two together, viewers. The lifestyle has led to the bad health, right? So it could be genuinely bad health or calling on the health card. As we all know, in Readerville, none of us have seen Trump actually be impeached. Whether that's because the Senate doesn't impeach him or whatever, a deal will be struck before impeachment sinks in. So expect the health card to come out for Trump as well. But back to Giuliani, he's just holding it together. This is how, going through the motions of having a normal life. A journey. So he's got two things about going away, right? How interesting. All right. Now, the second thing, well, there's more than second, this is probably the 15th thing already. I don't know why I even said that, viewers. Jennifer Williams, aide to Pence, has testified this week. We don't know the fine print, but we do know it won't be good for Pence. Right, because basically she's confirmed, all I've had time to look at is she's confirmed what the other witnesses have said. So he keeps saying he didn't know about the content of the phone call and all this. She was on the phone call. She is his aide. She's sent there to represent him and report back to him. Do they think we're all idiots or something? At best, it means you're the worst possible person at your job as vice president. That's the kindest spin you could put on it, that you're totally incompetent. And anything else is totally corrupt. Take your pick, Mike Pence. I can't bear hypocrisy, viewers. These ghastly, hypocritical people. But their numbers are coming up. So now Bannon'S back in the picture. He is on the witness list to give testimony in the Roger Stone trial. Now, Roger Stone, like Giuliani, like Trump, these are show ponies. They can't exist without the oxygen of publicity, right? So Stone is going to do his utmost to turn it into a circus, which is, when I read on Stone, I'll use the circus cards. But his wings are severely clipped. And I think you watch his face and demeanour change. I give it 2 weeks. It'll be, oh, I've got food poisoning, but I'm still the hip guy. About another 2 weeks max. And then he'll start looking like the deer in the headlights. And if it hasn't, it means his brain's not connected, and here's another one with a Dr. Feelgood. So, okay, Lena, focus. Bannon. So what's Bannon up to? That thing they always put out what they're actually doing, so calling everyone else deep state while you are in fact the deeper state person ever. He's also been very busy in Europe with the alt-right. He's been very busy meddling in Brexit. How come he's still walking around? Because he's smarter than the others. But what's going to happen with Bannon and the Roger Stone business? Bannon. The fool, I think he's really radically overplayed his hand. So, look, the fool. Do not think for 1 minute I think Bannon is a fool. He's not. He's a smart guy, a very Machiavellian character. I think the problem with Bannon, I digress, viewers. The problem with Bannon is he was damaged. The little I know of his early family life, it was quite abusive. There was a lot of drunkenness. It was an ugly childhood. So a damaged guy who then goes and becomes a Navy SEAL or something, so puts all that energy into that world, and then reads avidly. And so, but what does he read? He reads stuff on strategic stuff, but he also reads all this alt-right conspiracy stuff. So he's infinitely more well-versed than the others in this perverse sort of underbelly of capitalism in a funny way. Anyway, he gets the fool card on top. So you'd have to say, ultimately, shadowing this whole reading is he's been very smart and strategic until now, but he's going to be called to account. He can refuse to answer questions and stuff, but it's not going to look good. He should have got out 3 years ago when he had the chance to get out. He'd still be called in for this testimony, but he's been working all this time, working at destroying the UK, working at getting all these populist right-wing absolute fascists in Europe. And they keep getting voted in now in Italy and Czechoslovakia and Hungary and, sorry, it shouldn't be Czechoslovakia, Slovakia. But Hungary and so on. And they come in and they've got no policies because they just run on hate. Get rid of immigrants, get rid of immigrants. We don't want Syrian refugees. That's all they've got to say. You can't run a country, just like Trump can't run a country on building the stupid wall. Didn't you love that, viewers? Already people have got through bits of the repaired wall. Yeah. Anyway, it's a bridge too far. He's overplayed his hand. He will actually be caught in his own foolishness. So here we have judgment coming down on his ass. We have the Queen of Swords. This could be a presiding judge. This could be a woman of authority. This could be Rebecca Mercer. It could be Nancy Pelosi. But a no-frills, cut-to-the-chase woman is going to bring Bannon undone. He then gets the Nine of Pentacles. Traditionally, this card isn't too bad, but the somber nature of the 12 chairs deck means there's no time to really rest. He's had time to kick off his shoes, but not really rest, and that'll come back to him. The money laundering, the most overused Latin phrase is commonly now the quid pro quo stuff. All of this deception around the movement of money. He gets the death card, not meaning his literal death, but the death of this whole business, the whole lot of it, was engineered on Bannon's watch, and it's going to die on Bannon's watch. He then gets the Page of Cups, news, and a surprise. Something in the court case is going to throw him. Of all this cast of ridiculous characters, you know, these Looney Tune, inadequate characters, Bannon's been the most competent and the most sane. I don't like his ideology, but he's entitled to it. But he has been the most together through all this. He's the one who's also seen inside and outside. You know what I mean? The others are all just in it for themselves. He ideologically wants to take on China. I don't care how good a Navy SEAL you were, but you can't take on China, love. I'm here to tell you, pet, that game is up. And the same with the alt-right in Europe. They've played their trump cards, they've got voted in, and it's not working. So, surprise news, I predict, for Bannon, in the sense of some clever prosecutor is going to catch him out. He's smart enough to be able to deflect a lot, keep to the script, unlike the press. He'll keep to the script, he'll have his position, he'll say the minimum, he'll do all those right things from a lawyer's point of view, but something's going to catch him by surprise. And he's actually going to be flawed and or exposed through the surprise news, the Page of Cups. Oh, wow. So, little cards, clarifiers, please, for Bannon. Clarifiers for Bannon. Clarifiers for Bannon. We've got the family room, that's the Oval Office, the courtship, that would be with Russia, and the community, that would be the cyber community. So what I mean by these cards being fortune teller cards and not tarot, they actually say each thing. In other words, you could play it after Christmas dinner with the family without knowing anything about tarot. Here's the family room. This is what was done. It could have been the family room in inverted commas in Trump Tower, but it's my Oval Office card at the moment. The courtship. We're not talking about Bannon's love life. We're talking about the courting of Russia. Community. Right, so this surprise, which is what I'm asking about, is going to be a shock to the public. This could be the community of the alt-right, or it could be the community in the American people. Either way, there will be something quite shocking come out. Oh my God. You've got these people here, viewers. You know, the things they get up to, busier than a paper shredder in the White House. I mean, they're at it night and day, arse covering, and they've finally come to the end game now. I don't think they really predicted that the impeachment proceedings would take the shape it did so quickly. No one could have really, because it was just this confluence of things, of the universe saying, enough already, we're going to start putting the brakes on, and you guys have to go on the defense now. So, I've got to go, because I've got to get on a plane in the morning. I'm going home after 7 months. So, I've forgotten what my bedroom looks like. So the next time I'll be coming to you from Melbourne. Bye for now. Keep those comments rolling, 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 rolling. Okay, if you want a reading, get in touch via email. I'll see you now. Ciao.